Shalom, 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 shalom. First and foremost, giving infinite praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahushua Ba'ashem, Wachakadash, and giving double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone and shalom and salutation. The all you sincere Akim across the four winds, pushing his truth with sincerity of heart. I'm your fellow servant, Kasama God from the DC camp, coming at you through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua Ba'ashem Hakodash and feed the elect. Now, this is going to be a quick a lesson, this is just another edition of Cold-Blooded Babylon, all right? I think the last time I made a video about Cold-Blooded Babylon, as you know, Babylon, in the Bible is the United States of America. And, of course, the Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, were the prophets of the Lord. Basically pushing his truth, letting the Lord Yahushua is returning to deliver his people and to destroy Babylon. All right. So this right here, man, we're going to deal with I got a quick one, just dealing with marriage in the West, in Babylon, aka the United States in particular, and how cold-blooded it is. It's crazy because I was just watching a couple of vids, and it kind of inspired this quick lesson, because you got Israelites out there, foolish Israelites out there that still engaged in this activity. One of the worst moves that a man in general could make in the United States, but primarily an Israelite, because you have no business being involved into this Edomites institution. But we were trained and brainwashed into this matrix, basically this world, to follow this crap. But once you come out of it, you look at that and you're like, this is just an Edomite thing. You got to stay away from that. So now this is a divorce attorney on this particular interview from this channel called Soft White Underbelly. And I was watching it, man. It was it's some cold-blooded stuff, man. I mean, me personally, I had already been aware of the institution and what it's done. I mean, I can recall as far back as 16. I always tell the story. When I was 16, I think one of my uncles had brought me to the basement. So he was undergoing divorce. I guess he didn't want to talk about it with anybody, none of the grown folks. He was in great pain, so he pulled me into the basement. I was 16. I'm like, man, what is he trying to, so we, the football game was playing. So I'm thinking, he wants us to watch football. And this man just started basically crying, talking about, he told me, man, don't remember this young man don't ever get married. I'm like, man, what is he talking about? Crying, a grown man, old, I think he was in his 50s or whatever, crying and telling me the L's and the losses that he's taken for engaging in this institution called marriage in the United States in Babylon. And I would never forget that to me. And then growing up seeing individuals after individuals get absolutely destroyed, that was just that was just right there, just acknowledging that, hey man, like what I was told way back when I was 16 was true. So that's why I already made up my mind. I'll never engage into this institution. And then you find out the truth. You're like, the Most High going to destroy Babylon anyway. So you just do not engage into this. But, you got people that do it, and they do it because it's prophecy. It's the end of the world. So let's listen. And this is fair use. I'm not going to play the whole thing. This is just for educational purposes. I'm just going to hit some points, because it's like about 2 minutes. He says something that's really poignant, and I wanted to share. And this is a divorce lawyer who himself, as a matter of fact, went through divorce. So he knows all about this. So let's listen.
That fails 76% of the time. That's insane. That's more likely than not. 76%. If I told you there's a 76% chance when you walk out the door today, you're going to get hit in the head with a bowling ball, you would not go out, or you'd wear a helmet for sure. But people just continue to get married. Not only do they continue to get married, there's a presumption that you should get married. And if you don't get married, there's something wrong with you. So if you've got a girlfriend and you've been with her for 5 years, and you say to someone, we're getting married, they go, oh, that's great. They don't go, why? You're happy. Why would you get married? Like everything's going fine. Why would you put yourself through that? Why would you run that risk? If you say to someone, we've been together 5 years and we've decided we're not going to get married. We're going to move in together, but we're not going to get married. Ooh, what's wrong? You have intimacy issues? What's your problem? Meanwhile, 56% end in divorce. It's literally fits the legal definition of negligence. It's a
Fair use, and I mean that's exactly that's true. All right, so let's keep going. I had to kind of stop and speak over it, for copyright infringement purposes, but let's listen.
negligent behavior. The way you define negligence in law school is when what you lose by not doing something, okay, is lower than the risk of harm. It's what's called a BPL analysis. So the burden of not doing a thing is lower than the likelihood, the probability of harm. So BPL, so burden, probability, and loss. Marriage is an inherently negligent activity. It's like owning a lion. Like the likelihood of someone getting hurt seriously by this is very, very high. No one ever says it to you because why? Because, I would say something. I've been doing this for over 20 years, and I still get misty-eyed at weddings. Like I still really, there's something in me that goes like, maybe it'll work out for these two.
You still believe in love?
Sweet. I absolutely believe in love. I think love is wonderful. But love and marriage have very little to do with each other. I don't think there's much of a correlation there.
Uh-oh.
And I think that's where we got off track.
And that's what it is. I'm again. This is gonna be a quick one. I'm not trying to make this too long. You should go to this channel, Soft White Underbelly. It's very interesting. Very interesting. And I'm gonna bring some numbers. When you listen to a divorce attorney, like I said, the things that he talked about, the things that you should already kind of know. It's kind of in the open now. That's why the marriage numbers are failing, are dropping. But you still got a lot of people out there that still are gonna get married, and there's a reason why. Because I'm gonna prove, and I'm gonna show you why. Although there's a great number of men that are waking up to this, I would say this institution, this corrupted institution. There's still gonna be a group of men, that's a large amount of men that are going to get married, and it's all according to prophecy. All right, they're gonna bypass all this truth and all that, and they're gonna line up like sheep to the slaughter, to the family court and marriage slaughter. But it's all, and it's the power of prophecy, man. The prophecy is so powerful that even with all the truth that's going on out there, as far as like the institutional marriage and how corrupt and how anti-male it is, you're still going to have a lot of men that's going to do it. Why? Because prophecy says that they have to do that. That also has to be a sign of the end times, all right? So now let's go to this statistics. When you type in who initiates divorce, it tells you right here, nearly 70% of divorces are initiated by the wife. In addition, over 50% of divorced wives never want to remarry, while only 30% of men express that same sentiment. Seeing as most divorces are initiated by women, men can use this statistics to make sure they are being mindful of their wives' needs once they're being mindful. Now that's the step. Listen, man. America has a way of trying to hide, women's nature and women's wickedness, man. It's like, well, you're not being a good husband. That the men ain't they're not being good husbands. That's the reason why women force. If you believe that, listen. If you believe that, man. Hey, I feel sorry for you. This is the scriptures, man. Let's go into the scriptures and what the Lord is, how the Lord wants us Hebrew Israelite men to move in these last days. All right. Let me go. I think this is First Corinthians chapter 7, subtitle Teaching on Marriage. I want to focus on what's that? 9. All right, cool. 9. Okay. All right. So now let's go. It says 1 Corinthians chapter 7, and I'm gonna start at 8. It says, I said therefore to the unmarried and widows, it is good for them if they abide even as I. All right. But if they cannot contain, let them marry. For it is better to marry than to burn. All right. And unto the married I command, yet not I, but the Lord, let not the wife depart from her husband. And if she depart, let her remain unmarried and be reconciled to her husband. and let not the husband put away his wife. So when you deal with the scriptures, the scriptures basically tells you, because Paul speaks about, he also says in a period of distress, because Paul was always talking about, he was always about being relatable. All right, so if you are in the land of captivity, you're at war. There's an institution that's set up to basically destroy your family. You cannot possibly believe that an institution that's divided the so-called black men and the so-called black women that have destroyed the so-called black families and Hispanics family. You can't possibly believe that the same institution is going to have rules favorable for them to be married. Of course, you have to understand that the institution have rules to destroy the man. Like every rule and every law, damn near every rule and every law that Esau Edom, the so-called white man, has put in his books, is towards destroying the Israelite man's marriage with the Israelite woman. So he encourages you to get married according to his institution. And if you don't get married according to his institution, you're just dealing with your wife, because marriage is sex. Primarily. So if you're just dealing with your woman as you waiting for all hell to break loose and you waiting for the end of his age, he's encouraging you to get married according to his institution. He would not regard your marriage unless you go down the aisle and sign those contracts, knowing that the way society is, social media, all these different things, like that's gonna corrupt your marriage, and that's gonna destroy your family. And then there will be a price that you're gonna pay financially, and mentally, when you go down that road. So it's a trap. Marriage is a big time trap. It's a trap set up by the enemy. It's just Esau. Listen, Esau's the devil that the Bible speaks of. He knows how to use, your love for women. Your nature, your nature is to love women, right? So your nature is to want to marry women. There's nothing wrong with marriage in a concept, but Esau knows that Esau's a master at warfare. He knows that you love women. He knows that you want to get married to a woman. So, he's gonna use your natural lust against you to destroy you. So you have to be. That's why, man. Listen, this warfare is spiritual. You have to be aware of all the tactics. The scripture says Satan's going to take an advantage of you. So this is Forbes. Let's read what Forbes said. Revealing divorce statistics in 2023. It says, table of content. Most people have heard that half of all marriages end in divorce. But is there more to the story? All right. These divorce statistics shed more light on when and how a marriage come to an end in the United States. It says, read on to find out the truth about who is dissolving their marriages. It says, key divorce statistics in 2023. It says in 2021, a total of 689,000 plus divorces occurred across the 45 U.S. states that report this statistic during the same year, right? It says 1,985,000 marriages occurred, all right, making the U.S. marriage rate 6 per 1,000. Far more people get married over the course of each year than get divorced. These divorce statistics show what happens to marriages that end and when and how a couple decides to end. Some of it is true, some of it is not. Because you have people that are and married on paper, but they're divorces. But they have adultery. They have open marriages. They have all degenerate marriages. Because you got these marriages that are counted as successful marriages, but they're a bunch of devil degenerates, right? They have open poly nonsense going on. So, which is all wicked. The Heavenly Father hates that. It's a wicked lifestyle, but it is. Remember, America is Babylon. It's also Sodom and Gomorrah. It's also ancient Egypt, all mixed into one. So you expect degeneracy to be in these institutions. All right. It says, let's see, what's the next one? I'm just gonna skip some of this, man, but it's pretty good. It says, when do couples divorce? When marriages end, usually sometime has passed since the wedding. In fact, the average length of a marriage prior to divorce is 8 years. It says, how long does divorce take and how much does it cost? It says, divorce take time. Contested divorces usually take over a year to finalize. Although simple divorces can be completed in as little as 3 months, divorce comes at a big cost, with couples spending an average of 7,000 to dissolve their union. Yeah, I mean, and it's even more than that, depending on how much the man makes, and depending on the lifestyle that he afforded the woman, which the United States believe on, and not only the United States, the West in general, but we dealing with Babylon the Great. All right, Babylon the Great definitely believes in incentivizing your wife to break up with you and to leave you, because the finances, money has to. America, one of the main reasons why America is the richest country in the world is because of divorces. Is because women end up with money, end up being rewarded for divorcing men, and women are the biggest spenders, and single women spend more money than married women. So the government, the Rockefeller, that's why they created feminism. They had to find a way to transfer the wealth from the men, because the men generate the wealth, and the women basically are kind of like leeches. So they have to find a way to transfer the man's wealth onto the woman, and then break up that union, so that the woman can find herself out there spending all that money on frivolous things. So that's how you get this one of the many reasons why this economy has been at the level that it's been for all these years. All right. So yeah, I mean, once you understand these things, you understand it's all a big trap. This is a fake society. It's a fake world, fake marriages, fake wives. Everything is fucking fake, man. Everything is fake. Everything's a trap. Once you understand that, man, you're like, hey, you know what? This is some bullshit that was sold, man. But that's what the enemy is going to do. This is psychological warfare. This is Deuteronomy, the law of divorce. Since America believes in rewarding your wife with your wealth, when you no longer have access to her body, and then you get custody and all this stuff, which dudes get absolutely destroyed in family courts and stuff like that. This is law of divorce. Now let's deal with what the law said, what the scriptures said. It says Deuteronomy 24:1. It says, when a man has taken a wife and married her, and it come to pass that she find no favor in his eyes, because he has found some uncleanness in her, then let him write her a bill of divorcement, and give it in her hand, and send her out of his house. Well, as you know, this is God's law, although the Most High really did not want, divorce, but at the same time, the Heavenly Father knew that divorce was going to be a part of this story that we living in, because, Israel was going to be wicked. Men and women were going to be wicked. So that's why you had laws like this, because divorce was eventually going to happen. But the Heavenly Father believes that the Heavenly Father sets up the law that the man should, write the bill of divorcement and let her go, right? She gotta go, but you keep your house, which that's your wealth. Well, the so-called white man, the devil that the Bible speaks of, since he is the complete opposite of God, his law is to actually transfer the man's wealth to the woman. So you see how these laws are put. Esau has constructed his laws to be completely contrary to the laws of the Most High. So if you side with the so-called white man, which is the devil, then you're a devil just like him, and God is going to destroy you. Right along with Babylon, right, and all this institutions, establishment, all of this bullshit, this fake life that Esau has set up, it's all going to burn. When the thermonuclear missiles hit this place, and the Third World War, all these elements are going to melt. And that's what they just gotta like pull out of this nonsense, and understand that this is all fake, man. This is all fake. Your nature is being used against you to bring you down, and then you go through this divorce shit, man. It breaks you down, man. I mean, dudes just get completely destroyed. Their souls are destroyed. It's a rough thing, man. It really is. Now this is what Paul said. Paul said something to the men of the Lord, man, and he said, let me see. There's something that he said about there's a verse there's a verse where he said, because of the present distress There you go, right here. This is First Corinthians chapter 7, verse 26. Because individualism, especially the woman. I expect the women to feel some type of way, because when the society has been gynocentrically geared towards in your favor, and then women realize that God is really biased in favor of men, and they realize the way that they've lived is in a lifestyle where the devil has made this world biased towards them. So that's why women don't really they get upset. They get upset at God, you know what I'm saying? So, but hey, as men of the Lord, I really don't give a fuck about feelings. I mean, we gotta tell the truth, and to the men of the Lord, and that's all that counts. I mean, I don't really care. 1 Corinthians 7:26, it says, I suppose therefore that this is good for the present distress. I say that it is good for a man's soul to be. And what did he say? He said that because if you read the chapter, Paul just told the Israelite man, listen, man, just really be single, man, so you can focus on his word. Why? Because of the present distress, meaning we're not living in the kingdom of heaven. We're not at peace. We are at war. We're behind enemy's lines. Esau's coming down to besiege Jerusalem. The concentration camps are going to be open. A lot of our people going to die horrible deaths. This is not the time for you to be trying to build families where women that are corrupted in a corrupted system. So that's what he meant, the present distress, because Israel were under Roman occupation. So although we would somehow allowed to keep some of our laws, at the end of the day, the Roman rule overruled the laws of Israel in the land of Israel, and that's what's called an occupation. All right, so let me see. There's a version right here, man. That's why we said, man, let's just focus on the word. People get in their feelings, and Paul was like, man, I'm just trying to warn you. So listen, this is LSB. It says, but if you marry, you have not sinned. And if a virgin marries, she has not sinned. Yet such will have trouble in this life. I am trying to spare you. And I am trying to spare you. And that's what it's about, just trying to spare. And I remember that uncle, that he was trying to spare me, man. I saw that grown man cry. That really did something to me, man. And I'll never forget that. That was my first red pill moment, I would say. When you really like wake up and you're like, what in the world? Like, and then you grow in the society and you see, dudes get absolutely wiped out and you're like, damn, bro. But the reason why you still have a lot of men that still get married, even though all this truth is there, I mean, you got guys, listen, stories, even in Israel, bro. You got Israelites call themselves Israelites, man, and they're going out there signing and putting their name that, into this institution. Man, it's just, I mean, it's just cannot comprehend that. But there's a reason why. It's because of prophecy. This is Matthew 24:36. It says, but of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. As in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark. So it's not going to be any different. It's just that now the flood that's going to happen is going to be a flood of fire. Thermonuclear missiles. So, but you're still going to have individuals, Israelite men, even guys that are know that they're Israelite. They're supposed to have cut off the society. They still get, because of their natural love for the woman. Esau is using the natural love for the woman to make a mistake, to fall into a trap that's going to be devastating. You know what I'm saying? So these are one of the things you have to watch out for as men of the Lord. Primarily, I'm speaking to the men of Great Millstone. I mean, we already know what's going on. We just got to say this for the newcomers or the ones that are watching us, so they can understand that the seriousness of this mission, this journey. It says, verse 38, it says, for as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage until the day that Noah entered the ark. That's why even the divorce attorney's like, man, why they keep, man got divorced, got ruined. Why he keep coming back? It's prophecy. You have to have these signs that Babylon, is going down. You have to have these signs at the end of the world where people will ignore the truth. They're still going to act like everything is Gucci when everything is collapsing. All right. Verse 43, it says, actually, verse 42, it says, watch therefore, for ye know not what hour your Lord doth come. But know this, that if the good man of the house had known in what watch the thief will come, he would have watched and would not have suffered his house to be broken up. Right. So we know what's going on. In Proverbs, Solomon said it's in vain to set a trap in front of a bird, who's already just paraphrasing, who's already basically seen it. So it's like, man, I already seen people get absolutely destroyed in this institution. Why the hell would I sign up for something like that? You know what I'm saying? That's called wisdom. Matthew 24:44 says, therefore be ye also ready, for in such an hour as ye think not, the Son of Man cometh. All right. So, I mean, hey, it is what it is, man. So let's conclude with this. This is Jeremiah 16:1. It says, distress is foretold. It says, for the word of the Lord came also unto me, saying, thou shalt not take thee a wife, neither shalt thou have sons or daughters in this place. All right. For thus saith the Lord concerning the sons and concerning the daughters that are born in this place, and concerning their mothers that bear them, and concerning their fathers that begat them in this land, they shall die of grievous deaths. They shall not be lamented, neither shall they be buried, but they shall be as dung upon the face of the earth, and they shall be consumed by the sword and by famine, and their carcasses shall be meat for the fowls of heaven and for the beasts of the earth. All right, so now, that's basically all that. I mean, you should definitely go and check out that check out this video, man. It's very interesting. I mean, especially if you're Israelite, man, and you're still not fully persuaded that this thing is a whole trap from Esau to basically destroy you. You just definitely pay attention to it. And put your feelings to the side, man. This is about facts. This is about focus. This thing is about to go down, and you definitely want to evade these traps that are set up in this society and these institutions. So with that, I'm going to say, Kara Halam La Yahweh Shemel Shah, double honors to our apostles and elders of great millstone and Shalom and salutation. The all you sensei argument across the four winds, pushing this truth with sincerity of heart, because I'm a God from a DC camp. Shalom.